Caylee Marie Anthony was born on March 19th, 1986. Her parents were George and Casey Anthony. When Casey was in high school, she was a very happy and boisterous student. She had many friends and was liked by many people. She participated in many sports in high school. She did not graduate, though. When she was 19, she became pregnant with her boyfriend, Jesse Grund.
Caylee Marie Anthony was born on August 9th of 2005. People would describe Caylee as being sweet, adorable, and energetic. Many friends and family members of Casey would describe her as being a good mother. She was loving and caring towards Caylee, but they would also say that she had a history of lying. Her current boyfriend, Tony, didn't like or want kids. Casey would often complain that she missed her freedom and missed not having a big responsibility, which made sense considering she was only 19. So on June 15th, George packed a bag for Caylee and said goodbye. Little did he know that would be the last time that he or anyone would see Caylee alive, besides Casey. So it's now been 2 weeks since George and Cindy has seen their granddaughter. Every time they would call to see if they can talk to her, Casey would make up an excuse on why they couldn't speak to her. Casey would say she's on a play day or she's with the nanny. The nanny's name was Netta Gonzalez. No one knows who this nanny is except for Casey. So on July 13th, George and Cindy got a letter in the mail saying that Casey's car was in a tow yard. George went to the car where he found Casey's purse, Caylee's car seat, and a bag he packed back on June 15th. He also found a horrendous smell coming from the trunk of the car. George told Cindy and she was upset, so she got a hold of Casey and demanded her to bring her to Zanny. For a while of driving around, Casey comes clean and tells her mother that Caylee had been missing for 31 days. So on July 15th, there were 3 phone calls made to the police station, all of which were made by Cindy. When the police asked her why she didn't call them herself, this is what she said.
Why didn't you call prior to today?
I think part of me was naive enough to think that I could handle this myself, which obviously I couldn't. I was scared that something would happen to her if I did notify the authorities or got the media involved or my parents, which I know would have done the same thing.
What's funny is that during this time, Casey was out partying every night and she even got a tattoo that says "Beautiful Life." But Casey claimed that she was doing her own investigation into the nanny and Caylee's disappearance. Casey told the police that she worked at Universal Studios in Orlando and they asked to see her office. So she literally went with the police to Universal and they walked around for a bit until she told them that she was lying. On July 16th of 2008, Casey was arrested for child neglection. The police are still looking for Zanny. They found out that Zanny doesn't have an address or a house. On July 17th, the police had cadaver dogs search the car, and the results were a scent of a decomposing body. On August 27th, they did an air sample of the car, and they also found a decomposing body. By now, thousands of volunteers were looking for Caylee. On December 11th, Roy Kronk went to use the bathroom, and he saw a black plastic bag. It was skeletal remains of Caylee Anthony.
On October 14th, 2008, Casey Anthony was charged with first-degree murder, manslaughter of a child, and 4 counts of lying to the police. Casey Anthony's trial began in Orange County, Florida on May 24th, 2011, and lasted until July 5th of the same year. She was found not guilty of first-degree murder, manslaughter of a child, and child abuse, but she was found guilty on 4 counts of lying. She was charged with 4 years imprisonment, but however, she spent 3 years of that sentence leading up to her trial, so she only spent 12 days in prison, but was charged $4,000 in fines.
State of Florida versus Caylee Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July. As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of... Verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Not guilty.
Dated at Orlando. The jury find the defendant not guilty.
Not guilty?
Not guilty!
Not guilty!
Not guilty!
First degree.
Go!
My God!
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando.
This is like OJ all over again.
Absolutely shocked.
They totally got it wrong.
I cannot believe the verdict today.
Not guilty, first-degree murder. I can't believe it.
No regard at all for that baby.
On the case of whether or not Casey Anthony is a psychopath or a sociopath, she would be considered a psychopath. Despite having an emotional connection to numerous boyfriends and to her parents, she deliberately plotted the murder of her own daughter, not only with the prior Google searches and lying about her whereabouts.